This family drama has reached a new level, and no one expected it. Just when everyone thought the tension was already high, something shocking happened. Imagine this. Mendeecees and Lil Mendeecees were in the car, and suddenly, a slap happened. Yes, a real slap. And that was just the start of everything. I have all the details about this situation, and believe me, you are not ready for what happened. There were heated arguments, and then there was a big fight. This drama feels like something from a reality show. And now, the streets are talking about it. But the big question is, why did this even happen? What did Mendeecees say that made his son react like this? And why did Yandy respond in that way? Mendeecees and Lil Mendeecees have had problems for a long time. Everyone saw the signs, and people have been talking about it, but no one thought things would go this far. Some relationships between fathers and sons are difficult, but this one is on another level. So, get ready, because we're going to talk about everything from the beginning. Mendeecees and Lil Mendeecees have had a difficult relationship for many years. Everything changed when Mendeecees went to prison. After that, nothing was the same. When he finally came back home, the damage had already been done. Every time they were together, anyone could see that there was tension. It was clear that things were not right between them. While Mendeecees was away, Lil Mendeecees had to grow up very fast. His mother, Yandy, did everything she could to guide him and make sure he felt supported. But as soon as Mendeecees returned, everything started to change. It looked like he wanted his son to act like nothing had ever happened and follow his rules without any question. But real life does not work like that. And who can forget the moment when Mendeecees said that he was not sure if he would have stayed by Yandy's side if the situation had been reversed. The internet was very upset about that. If he could say something like that about his own wife, just imagine how things have been with his son behind closed doors. Feelings of hurt and anger do not just disappear in one day. And let's be honest, Mendeecees has not been the best father either. Now, let's talk about what happened in the car. All the anger that had been growing for years finally exploded. The argument started over something very small, just one of those simple disagreements between a father and son. But when people hold in their feelings for too long, even a small thing can turn into something big. People who were there say that Mendeecees was trying to talk to Lil Mendeecees, but Lil Mendeecees did not want to listen. He answered back and told his father that he does not respect him because he was never really there for him. That kind of truth can hurt deeply, and Mendeecees did not take it lightly. Lately, Lil Mendeecees has been acting in a way that Mendeecees did not like. You know how fathers always try to show their power, telling their sons, "You better watch how you talk to me." Instead of listening and trying to understand his son's feelings, Mendeecees did what he always does. He tried to control the situation. We have all seen this before. When parents feel like their children are speaking too boldly, they quickly try to stop it. They see it as disrespect instead of trying to understand what is really happening. And that is exactly what happened here. Lil Mendeecees looked at his father and said something that hit deep. "You want to act like a father now? Where was this energy when I needed you?" That was the moment everything changed. A real mic drop. If this is not one of the strongest lines ever, then what is? But before Mendeecees could even react, Lil Mendeecees slapped him. Yes, you read that right. He slapped him. Now, nobody knows if it was pure anger, if it was just his reaction, or if he had been waiting for this moment his whole life. But one thing is sure, he did not hold back. He swung his hand, and the next thing you know, Mendeecees was just sitting there in shock. It was like he could not believe what had just happened. For the first time in a long time, he had nothing to say. The strangest part? Mendeecees did not react the way people thought he would. He did not start shouting, he did not run, and he did not even hit back. He just sat there, frozen, like he had seen a ghost. And maybe, in a way, he had, because at that moment he finally understood something. He had lost a son, but just when it seemed like things could not get any worse, Yandy walked in. She was not there when the slap happened, but the moment she heard about it, she lost control. She started screaming, crying, and demanding to know what had happened. And when she finally put all the details together, no one was ready for what she did next. She told Lil Mendeecees to leave. Just like that, the family was broken. And then, the internet exploded. Some people were angry, calling Lil Mendeecees disrespectful and saying, No matter what happens, you should never put your hands on your father. Others fully supported him, saying he had been holding in years of pain, and this was the moment he finally let it out. The slap happened so fast that everyone was left in shock. It was not just the family that felt it, the entire internet went wild. Memes started spreading everywhere. Some people called it the father-son smackdown of 2025. Others said Mendes finally got what he deserved. Some even compared it to the Will Smith and Chris Rock moment, saying, "Keep my name out of your mouth." But if you think that was shocking, wait until you hear what happened next. This family drama did not just stop there. It became something that nobody could have expected. Lil Mendeecees slapping his father in the car was already a big moment. It broke the family apart. But what truly changed everything was Yandy's reaction. She had to make a choice that would change all of their lives forever. Now, let us be honest. Yandy has been the one raising Lil Mendeecees since he was a small child. She was the one who made sure he had everything he needed while Mendeecees was in jail. She kept him safe, she guided him, and she never let him feel alone. It was not easy, but she did it because she loved him at the same time. She also loved Mendeecees. And when she saw her son hit his own father, it became too much for her to handle. That was the moment everything changed. She looked at Lil Mendeecees straight in the eye and said, "You have to go." Nobody could believe it. The internet exploded. People were shouting at their screens, Twitter was on fire, and social media was filled with arguments. How could Yandy, after all these years of protecting Lil Mendeecees, suddenly turn against him? People were completely divided. Some said that Lil Mendeecees was wrong for hitting his father. They believed that no matter what happens, you should never raise your hand against a parent, but others had a very different opinion. They were saying, "Hold on a minute. How can you kick out the same child you have been raising all these years? Was he not the one who was abandoned by his father? And now you are turning your back on him too?" The arguments were endless. But before we even get into what the internet had to say, let us talk about Lil Mendeecees' reaction. This boy was shocked. He looked at Yandy like he could not believe what he had just heard. The woman who had always been his protector, his ride or die, was now telling him to leave. Let us be honest, Lil Mendeecees is not foolish. He knew that slapping his father would cause problems, but he never thought it would go this far. So, do you know what he did? He stood there, laughed sarcastically, and said, "Oh, so now I am the bad guy? After everything I have been through?" He could not believe it, but Yandy did not change her mind. She stayed firm and said, "I do not care what you have been through. You went too far." That was it. Lil Mendeecees packed his things and left, but this is where things really got out of control. Now that he was out of the house, he started talking to everyone. He went straight to social media and began revealing family secrets. First, he posted mysterious messages, and then he went live to expose everything. He started by saying that Mendeecees was never really there for him. He said his father only acted like he cared when the cameras were on, and that when it was time to be a real father, he was nowhere to be found. Then he dropped the biggest bombshell. Yandy is not as innocent as she seems. At that moment, the internet went from shocked to completely speechless. Because, let us be real, Yandy has always had that perfect wife, perfect mother image. She is supposed to be the peacemaker, the one holding everything together. But now, Lil Mendeecees was saying, "Let us talk about the real Yandy." Things took a dark turn. He hinted that Yandy only took care of him to look good for the cameras. He claimed that behind closed doors, she was not the same loving mother figure people thought she was. Then he said something that left people questioning everything. Do you all really think she took me in because she loved me? Or was it because it made her look like the perfect wife? At this point, nobody knew what to believe, and on one hand, Lil Mendeecees looked like a kid who had been through a lot and was finally speaking his truth. On the other hand, some people wondered if he was just acting out because he got kicked out of the house. And just when it seemed like things could not get any messier, Mendeecees himself finally spoke. For days, he had stayed quiet. No Instagram posts, no comments, no statements. But then, out of nowhere, he did an interview. And let me tell you, this was pure damage control. He sat there with a sad face, playing the role of the heartbroken father. He said, As a man, I never thought my son would turn on me like this. The interviewer nodded, pretending to be shocked. Wow, that must be so painful for you. Mendes sighed and said, I am not perfect, but I try to be a father. And now, seeing my son treat me like this. And just like that, the internet had a whole new debate to argue about. Mendes sat there, shaking his head and said, the way he disrespected me hurt more than anything. Oh, please. Where was this caring father energy when he was not around for years? The internet was not believing him, and then Mendes said the classic line, at the end of the day, oh, so now he wanted to act like the victim? Someone commented, Sir, you have not been a father for years. This is not just about a slap. People were not fooled. Mendes had been acting like he never left his son for half of his life. And just when things were already bad, they became even worse. His other baby mother, Erica, decided to jump in. She did not stay quiet. She came in full force saying, oh, now you all finally see what I have been saying for years. At this point, what started as a family fight turned into a full-blown drama. Lil Mendeecees was out here telling secrets. Mendes was acting like the victim. And Yandy? She was stuck in the middle, looking guilty as ever. Then Erica, out of nowhere, made things even worse. And just when we thought this mess could not get any worse, someone dropped proof. And let me tell you, this proof changed everything. You are not ready for this, because what was in those messages turned the whole story upside down. Screenshots, voice messages, texts, everything. And these messages did not just expose Lil Mendeecees' feelings. They showed that this whole family had been living a lie for years, and suddenly, it was clear, this was never just about one slap. Mendeecees and Yandy were not as perfect as they made people believe. Behind closed doors, things were very different. They showed a happy family to the world, but the truth was full of lies. Mendeecees himself got exposed in one of the messages where he said, I only do this for TV. I have to look like I am trying. So while he was crying in interviews saying, I just want to be a father, the truth was something else. He did not want to be a father. He only wanted to look good for the cameras. The proof was right there for everyone to see. Remember when Lil Mendeecees said that Yandy was not as innocent as she acted? These messages proved that he was telling the truth. And if that was not already bad, the messages also showed that Mendeecees was pretending to be the best father when in reality, he was not even around much. Then there was Yandy's message to Mendeecees' real father. She said, I cannot keep doing this. He is not even my real son. Excuse me? Not her real son? This child has called her mom for years. She has told the world that she loves him like her own child. But now, in private, she was texting his real father, saying she could not keep up the act. Mendeecees and Yandy were pretending, and it was really bad. Now, people on the internet had no idea who to blame. Was Yandy really a loving stepmother, or was she just acting for the cameras? Did Mendeecees really try to be a father, or was he only doing it to look good? And just when it seemed like this story could not get any crazier, Mama D showed up. Yes, love and hip-hop royalty. The queen of drama and messy relationships. And she did not hold back at all. She came in with the biggest insult, saying, this is why I always say you all need to stop faking these TV relationships because the truth always comes out on Instagram Live. She did not stop there. She said, I have known for a long time that Mendeecees was never really with Yandy. She has only been playing stepmother for the cameras. I do not blame Lil Mendeecees for speaking out. At this point, the entire love and hip-hop world was in shock. Lil Mendeecees had told his truth, exposing Yandy and Mendeecees, and Mama D was making sure everyone paid attention. But just when it seemed like the drama could not get worse, Kimbella jumped in. Yes, Cameron's wife. The same Kimbella who had an affair with Mendeecees years ago. She had been waiting for this moment, and she was not going to stay quiet. She went straight to Instagram and said, Yandy will do anything to make herself look good, even if it means throwing Lil Mendeecees under the bus. Now you all see what I have been saying about her? This woman has always been fake. I tried to warn you all, but nobody wanted to listen. This was no longer just family drama. It had turned into a full-blown scandal. The story was getting worse and worse, and just when people thought it could not go any further, Lil Mendeecees came back online. This time, he had one last thing to say before going live again. But now, he was much more calm and ready to speak his truth. Lil Mendeecees looked serious as he spoke. His voice was calm, but his words were heavy. He said, "I do not care what anybody says about me. I know my truth. I know what I have been through." And just like that, the internet went silent. Then he looked straight into the camera and said, "I know who really loves me and who is just using me." His eyes did not move, and his voice stayed the same. Then he added, "I will never be fake for anybody. That is why they are mad." This family was never what they made people believe. For years, they tried to show a perfect image to the world, acting like everything was good. But now, the truth is finally out and people can see things for what they really are. The big question is, what happens now? After all this drama, something even bigger is coming. Eno is making a return. Yes, you heard that right. Just when it seemed like things could not get any worse, another person is stepping into the story. This means more truth may come out, more secrets may be revealed, and more drama is on the way. Think about it. Did we just witness an entire family fall apart right in front of our eyes? This is not just some small argument. This is years of lies, hidden secrets, and fake family moments finally being exposed for the world to see. But the biggest question is, what is next? Right now, we do not even know the full story. If these private messages leaked, who knows what other proof might be out there? Could more shocking details be released? Will another reality star step in and add even more drama to the situation? And what about Lil Mendeecees? Is he really done with his father for good? Will Yandy finally admit that she was just pretending to be a caring stepmother for the cameras? And will Mendeecees even try to fix the damage? Or will he continue blaming everyone else instead of taking responsibility? There are so many unanswered questions, and everyone is waiting to see what happens next. One thing is clear, this is far from over. The truth is out now, and there is no way to hide it anymore. People are talking, watching, and waiting for the next twist in this messy situation. And when the next big bombshell drops, you already know we will be here to break it all down. So stay tuned, because this story is only getting started. Tell me what you think. Is Lil Mendeecees just a rebellious kid, or is he the only one telling the truth? What do you all think will happen next? One thing is for sure, this is not over yet. And when the next big thing happens, we will be right here to break it down. So press the like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications because trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. This is just the beginning.